Hello again. Sometimes when you want to find out what's going on, you must be a little cunning, for I'm afraid that people are all too prone to telling lies. This is especially so, of course, where politicians are concerned. So it is when the subject of immigration comes up, there is little point in asking anybody for the real figure, because they are unlikely to tell you the truth. Suppose we do it another way, though, and work on the assumption that people coming to Britain, whether they are working or claiming benefits, will all need a national insurance number. The number of new national insurance numbers issued to foreigners will tell us roughly how many immigrants have arrived. Luckily, on an obscure section of the government's own website is a section headed National Insurance Numbers Allocated to Adult Overseas Nationals through March 2023. Adult overseas nationals issued with national insurance numbers is a roundabout way of referring to foreign immigrants, you understand. How many new national insurance numbers were issued to such people in the year ending March 2023? Well over 1 million, in fact, almost all of whom came here from Africa and Asia. Have a look at the graph which forms the thumbnail to this video. If you can't see it, then click on the link I give in the description to this video and look at the graph in section 6, which is simply breathtaking. This shows the rise in national insurance numbers issued to foreigners from 2022 onward, the year, of course, that Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister. You'll see at once that figures for national insurance numbers bounce along before Sunak, rising at times and then at other times falling. As soon as he was installed in Downing Street, though, the numbers began to soar until they were off the charts. 270,000 of these people were from India and another 120,000 from Nigeria. Now, of course, it may be sheer coincidence that a Prime Minister whose parents were born in Africa and whose grandparents were from India takes over in 2022, and in the following year immigration from Africa and Asia soars in this spectacular way. Perhaps some viewers believe in that kind of uncanny coincidence, although I must confess that I myself do not. I think that round about the time that Sunak entered 10 Downing Street, a decision was made that immigration to this country, already running at unprecedented levels, needed to be turbocharged, and this is exactly what happened. This one graph gives the lie to the idea that immigration is in response to an aging population and so on. The fact that it shot up so dramatically at that time tells us at once that this is not some natural process, but that a decision was made somewhere about bringing in 1 million people from Africa and Asia. That surge cannot be anything other than a deliberate policy. It has nothing to do with asylum seekers or anything else. By way of comparison, I thought that viewers might like to reflect upon what the situation was with immigration just 30 years ago. This too tells us that the rise in immigration is not something connected to our ageing population or falling birth rate or any nonsense of that kind. 1990 wasn't all that long ago, and the same demographic factors in the British population were at work then as well. I have here the Atlas of British History by Martin Gilbert. It was first published in 1968, reprinted over the years. This is the 1993 edition, and it is generally recognised to be jam-packed with facts. This is the map that relates to asylum, people granted asylum in Britain, and it covers the period from 1985 to 1992. However, there's also a box here which says Principal Immigration to Britain, 1990. And I just want to read out a few facts from it. 2,400 people were granted asylum in 1990. 2,400, I mean, that's pretty much what you might get in a few weeks these days. But let's see what else it says. Duh, duh, duh. In addition to this, more than 28,000 individuals were permitted to immigrate to Britain. Total immigration, 30,000 in 1990. So apart from asylum seekers, 28,000 people were allowed to enter Britain. And what's very interesting indeed is that about a third of them were from Australia, America, Canada. In other words, non-white immigration to Britain in 1990 amounted to 20,000 people, and in the year ending 2023, it amounted to 1 million people. So in 1990, 20,000 people from Africa and Asia, and the European community, and in the last year for which we have records, the year that Sunak became Prime Minister, 1 million. What's wrong with this picture, boys and girls? Where immigration is being concerned, we are being lied to on an industrial scale, and the evidence is right here for those who wish to take note and observe it. And about this fact there is not the slightest doubt.